Hello everybody, it's your boy N here. I'm coming at you guys with another YouTube video. So in today's video, it is going to be the most effective way to farm Plague Star. So without further ado guys, let's get right on into today's video. So people, let's get right on into this. Frame 1 out of 5 is going to be Vault. So Vault is going to be the first frame, so let's get on into the config. Now for Vault, Vault is primarily going to be used to speedrun majority of this Plague Star event. So you're going to want to go with a high strength and a high duration configuration. And you are also going to want to subsume Mirage's Eclipse over the 4th. Now, if you've seen my other video, you'll recognize this build from being the Aya Farm build for Vault. And that is exactly right. So, Strength from Ogre Secrets, Double Umbral for Strength, Narrow-Minded for duration, Amar's Hatred for Strength, Transient and Blind Rage for strength and continuity for duration, along with Malt Augmented for extra strength and Malt Efficiency for extra duration. Now this is the config we're going to run on Vault, so let me show you the next frame. So guys, frame 2 out of 5 is going to be Wisp. Now with Wisp, you're just going to want to run a basic sort of config. Also, I do have strength shards on Wisp. You don't need them, but they do definitely help. So for Wisp, you're going to want to run something along this sort of line. Triple Umbrals for strength, Aura Secrets for strength, Energy Conversion for strength, Blind Rage for strength, and Continuity for duration, Prime Continuity, to throw that out there, and Amar's Hatred for strength, Fused Reservoir, because we're just going to cast all 3 motes at once, and I am going with Growing Power, but you could replace this with something else if you really wanted to. Given that majority of the enemies are infested, I do think Growing Power is best. Now, with this, we are going to get 46 seconds on the motes, which is very, very good. Now, I have got Eclipse on my Wisp. However, you could definitely replace this with Rest and Rage from Equinox. What this is going to do is basically bring out the bosses between the final stage significantly faster. So I would definitely recommend throwing the Rest and Rage on Wisp if you want to have that on Wisp. However, another frame in the lobby can have it, and it is just as good. For the arcanes, we're going with Malt Vigor, and I have chosen Arcane Rage because we do want to make our primary weapon or a weapon that we use do big amounts of damage in order to take out these enemies. So, this is the config for Wisp, so let me get on into the next frame. So frame 3 out of 4 is going to be Nova. Nova is here for 2 reasons and 2 reasons alone. So first of all, as you guys can see here, we've got 10 power strength, which means that this is a speed Nova. Now, we are running Speed Nova for obviously speeding up the infested in the 4th stage. However, we are also going to be using her to have the wormhole in the 3rd stage in order to teleport the drone across, just to make it a little bit faster. So this is the config for Nova. Power Donation, Cunning Drift for range, Ogre Message for duration, Neera's Hatred for duration, Constitution, Prime Continuity, and Narrow-Minded for duration, and then Overextended and Augur Reach for range. Now for arcanes, you can go with Malt Efficiency for a little bit of extra duration, and I have put Arcane Energize on here because I'm not running Floor. However, you could definitely take off a little bit of duration, or for example Neera's Hatred, and throw Prime Flow on there instead, and it will be just as good. If not, you can always use Energy Pads. And I was going to say you could also move Cunning Drift into there. And then you could also throw on, where is it? Rage, if you want to basically get energy back as well. So, you know, that is something else that you could consider. However, Nova's here for speed, which is primarily what we want. So let's get on into the next frame. Frame 4 out of 5 is going to be Loki. So, let's get right on into the config for Loki. Now, for Loki, it is the same story. You are literally just going to want Loki for high range for that switch teleport ability for the drone, and high efficiency just so that it switch teleport takes little to no energy. As you can see here, it shows that it's taking 6. Now, power donation as well, just in general, because you are going to have a Wisp in the lobby, and it is ideal for Wisp to get the biggest amount of power buff possible. Now, I've thrown preparation on here just so that you don't even need to bother with energy. However, this is the config. Range from Overextended, Flow for a little bit of energy, Fleeting for efficiency, duration, a little bit of extra survivability, not that you'd need it anyways, but still nice to have. Cunning Drift for a little bit of range, and Stretch for some range. As you guys can see here, 183 meters range from the drone is going to make this significantly faster. And for Arcanes, Arcane Energize and Guardian just for a little bit of survivability. Now guys, let's get on into the last frame. Now guys, frame 5 out of 5 is going to be Mesa, the aimbotting monster. So let's get on into the config for Mesa and the config for the regulators. So for Mesa, you're going to want to run something like this, which is just max out efficiency and high duration with a little bit of strength. So power pistol amp for pistol damage for her regulators, Mesa's waltz for a little bit of movement, efficiency, duration, a little bit of survivability, strength, and duration, a little bit of strength from fortitude, and some extra efficiency from streamline. Now the most important mod in this config is going to be Archon continuity, because this is what is going to turn our regulators from toxin over to corrosive. For arcanes, more augmented for more strength, and arcane velocity for more fire rate. So let's show the config for the regulators. For the regulators, galvanized diffusion and shot for extra damage and multi-shot, anemic agility for fire rate, target cracker and gambit for crit chance and crit damage, hemorrhage so more slash applies, lethal torrent for fire rate and multi-shot, and pistol pestilence just for toxin, because remember, like I said, once we use that and start proccing toxin, Archon continuity kicks in and we apply corrosive, which is absolutely amazing for the infested. So guys, that is the configs on all of these frames. By the way, on on Mesa, I do have Eclipse. You could replace it with Raw. I just like having Eclipse on because with Shatter Shield, you basically get double damage reduction. Or I think it stacks, I'm not too sure. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. But that is the frames, so let's get on into the gameplay. Just to show you the results of what all of this will look like once you are done. So we have just finished the bounty now. So let's see how fast we manage to do that. And that is 8 minutes and 30 seconds basically. So, you know, this works effectively under 9 minutes. Theoretically, with good RNG, you could probably push it in under 8 minutes. So, let's get on how to do this in the best way possible. So, to kick things off, this all begins with Vault. So, as you guys can see here, the first stage is always going to be collect the toxin. Now, this does work in non-steel path and also works in steel path. So, with this, first of all, you're just going to want to be Vault and go and grab this, because Vault is the fastest frame off the bat in order to do this. So, once you've grabbed this toxin, then you can progress onto the second stage. Okay, so now we are grabbing the toxin. Onto second stage we go. So, for the second stage, it is going to be the one where you've got to defend the vault whilst it is pulling out all of the goodies. Now for this, same story, except I'm going to throw a little bit of a twist on it and show you which frames are good and why they are good for this. Another quick thing to mention is we are going to use the Nightwave skip. So once we see text on the screen and Konzu starts talking, we're just going to hit escape and hit Nightwave and then jump back into game, and that will skip the dialogue. As you can see here, I missed the chance to make it faster, so I am running around in circles until second stage shows up. But ideally, you are going to land that right off the bat after they start talking in order to skip. So with this, we just hit the console and then we hit in here and we start to defend. Now this would be the part where Nova starts throwing speed and Mesa starts aimbotting everything. Alternatively, you can use your Necromech for this if you've got one, and it will be a very good way to level your Necromech. There's no speed up for this part, sadly, so you're just going to have to wait these long 2-3 minutes in order to get past this stage. Now with the drone, there is a way to manipulate the spawns and manipulate the RNG. I do not understand this myself as of yet. However, if I do learn to understand this and I'm able to give a description on it, I will pin it in a comment. But as of right now, as you guys can see, we are going to a waypoint which is marked drone skip. And we are going to wait here for the last 20 seconds of the bounty. And the vault is going to be the only frame over at the actual console, defending it. I'm not exactly sure what this drone skip does do. I'm pretty sure that it just manipulates RNG so that the drone spawns closer to you, which regardless in my books is a massive win when you are trying to save time and run as many of this Plague Star event as you can within 1 hour. Now guys, as you can see here, I am as Nova trying to teleport the drone with the wormhole, just so that it'll get to the objective faster. I'm not doing a very good job, and I have to admit this is difficult. So it does take a few seconds, and once the drone goes on somewhat of a linear path, you are able to very much teleport the drone. This is why I do recommend Loki, so I will show some gameplay of a Loki switch teleporting with the drone. So let's get ahead on to that. However, as you guys can see here, right now I do manage to pull off a successful teleport, and the drone's teleported on the other side of the rock and right on over to the 4th objective. Now let me show you the gameplay of Loki, just so you can see how much easier it is when doing this as Loki. So people, as you guys can see right over here, I've just started the drone and I am currently Loki. Now I am running away ahead of the drone because I know that I'm able to switch teleport back. The only thing with switch teleport is that you must be standing on the ground, and I just did it in air, but it is significantly more reliable if you stand on the ground. As you guys can see here, I do switch teleport the drone. No, sorry, it didn't work there. So I teleport the drone to myself on the ground. However, if I'm over here, I can switch teleport the drone all the way over there. Now, I do think this is generally just better with Loki because it is more reliable and it's more based on you as a player instead of hoping that the drone eventually goes on through the hole. So as you guys can see here, I'm just teleporting the drone insane lengths right on over to the objective, and that as a whole was significantly faster than trying to do it with Nova. So this is why I do recommend Loki. Waiting for the drone to pop up over the hill. Once it's popped up, just right there, done, and it is in the objective, and onto objective 4 we go. Now I'll give you a few perspectives on objective 4. So objective 4, every 25% of the infested that get purified is going to basically spawn a boss, which is quite literally Elephantis, that you're just going to have to kill. Now doing this in Steel Path or without Steel Path, I'm not too sure whether it makes a difference, but if you can handle Steel Path, I see absolutely zero reason to not go ahead and do this in Steel Path. Now for this is where Nova is going to need that duration for the 4th ability in order to basically, as you guys can see, just cast it on all of these infested. Now I would recommend casting it right next to the big orange pod thing right there, so that is going to cover both sides of the circle very good. And with the duration that we have in this gameplay, I'm not using the right Nova config, so generally you can see that I'm only getting 10 seconds of duration here, but if you are using the config that I did show in the prior bit of this video, you'll be getting about 20 seconds, so significantly more duration. And I just wanted to talk about weapons real quick because I've not covered them properly in this video. For weapons, you're just going to want to go with something that's incarnate, with that with corrosive, and just a high damaging weapon. Now your weapons don't make too much of a difference because with the defense you can basically get away with using your necromech. However, for the person who is going to be doing the damage to the Hemolist, I believe the big ugly boss is called, you are going to want something very good, powerful, with corrosive like an Incarnate. As you can see here, I am going at it with the Bolto. My Bolto does have viral and slash, and I'm still doing a significant amount of damage. So I definitely recommend corrosive just because it is best up against infested, and it is just a good weapon. You can not limit yourself to any weapon at all. You can use whichever weapons you want as long as they have a good amount of damage, you know, have high crit chance, high crit damage. You can also use the Worm Prime for an extra critical multiplier, 1.2 and 60 fire rate, or you could use the Hemlin Charger for a free ability cast. I do have separate videos on them, so please do check my channel for them. As you can see in this gameplay, I am using the Hemlin Charger, or sorry, Helminth Charger, because people have been slandering me in the comments because I can't say Helminth because I'm used to saying Hemlinth. Fight me, bro. I will take you down. But that being said, this is significantly more optimized, and as you guys can see here, we're just doing this with Nova and we're just cranking it. There's Mesa here. Wisp has 2 places for morts, one next to where the Hemolist spawns and one on top of this rock in order to get optimal view. Now you can also bring your necromech up here, like I said, just to destroy everything, but this is basically the farm. So let me show you what Mesa does and how Mesa acts throughout this gameplay. Before I do that, I just wanted to say, look how fast this enemy is moving due to the rest and rage from Wisp and the speed from Nova. Having more speed on this enemy just means that it will come out faster, which means you can kill it faster, which in turn means your run is going to be more optimized, and that is ideally what you want. As I showed from the beginning of once I started showing you the strategy, we managed to get this run done in basically under 9 minutes, which is quite effective. As you can see here, 8.5 minutes again. Very effective, very well optimized, and you can get several of these runs done within an hour. I'm not going to do the math because I suck at math, but you guys get the gist, and this is a very well optimized way. And if you were to keep pushing on these optimizations and basically master them, I do strongly believe you can get under just under 8 minutes, which is very, very much possible. As for Mesa, you're literally just going to be destroying everything with aimbot in stage 2 and in stage 4. You can also follow the drone and aimbot any enemies around it. So, you know, this is very effective. And as you guys can see from how fast I'm basically just eviscerating these enemies, it's definitely ideal to run Mesa for a DPS frame. And let me show you how Mesa runs in the 4th stage. So now we are in the 4th stage, and as you guys can see here, we're just aimbotting and destroying all these enemies. The big all Hemlis has come out. I'm just ignoring it and aimbotting the enemies around it because the other player in the lobby has said that he will take the Hemlis out. Just taking a lazy down because I didn't have my damage reduction active. But as you guys can see here, the way it works with Mesa is simple. Destroy everything. Mesa's the ultimate aimbot frame, and this is literally the fastest way, in my opinion, to just absolutely shred all the enemies around you, and in order to get the infested purified back up to 25 intervals and finish it off in the fastest way. So, you know, Mesa is a S tier option to basically send it flying. As you guys can see, within that time frame, we are already up to 50%. So the second Hemalist is spawning. So, you know, this works. It's effective. And Mesa is just a certified gangster. Just for Wisp gameplay, there is nothing significant of note other than basically just cast your morts and put them down near the targets and just around where you think is good and where is going to benefit the other players. So guys, that has basically been this video on Plaguestar, and I hope you have enjoyed. If you did, please do smash that like button. If you're new here, consider subscribing. I do videos like this and in-depth guides and try to do my best all the time, so I hope you have enjoyed. I have a link for my Discord server in the description, so please feel free to join that. Like I said, that's been this video. Hope you've enjoyed. If you did, smash that like button, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace, boy.